Get on that YouTube! I got my Native Lives shirt, Native Lives Matter shirt on because this is the last day of Native American Heritage Month. You know, I'm mixed with African American, French, Spanish, English, Irish, and Native American descent. I do not follow one drive rule, below quartums. I don't follow multiracial identity, multiracial heritage, diversity, and anything else. So, conservative Mexican has been going to South. I think he went to South. So why I say South? So I'm laughing at this dude's comments when I was debating with him on live stream. So he went to San Francisco, right? And I think he saw the what's the name, Alexandra Cortez, the Puerto Rican woman from New York, and he was mocking her, you know, saying that she went for the moon. Yeah, she's not talking about literally the moon. She's talking about you beat the adversary, you beat the challenge. Okay, you won. So he talking about I don't see how a black or Hispanic can be in the Democratic Party. You know, the Ku Klux Klan is the Democratic Party, and you know what's the name was Republican. Yes, the first so-called pure black, Abraham Lincoln, who was Melungeon. Just like Elvis Melungeon. See, one thing about me as a multiracial person, I do study about multiracial heritage, okay, and people with multiracial background. So as I was saying, yeah, before Barack Obama made the first black, even though he ain't black either. Um, Abraham Lincoln was the first, and he was Republican. Yes, you forget history, dude. FDA, FDR, excuse me, Roosevelt, when they started making the government systems, that's when the Democrat Party, the Democrats started to become Republican around the 30s and the 40s. And when I brought up Kennedy, you're trying to devaluate the fact that Kennedy joined the Democrat Party and he was an Irish Catholic. You forget that in America, this is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant country. Okay, just like for example, there's the sex abuse scandals. There's a bunch of sex abuse scandals in the Protestant churches. Actually, the United States has a sex abuse scandal besides what happened in slave trade. Besides me, I have a program that was white, but I have other ancestors in 19 probably was the white that was slave owners and raping people. And some of the Protestants, some kind of whatever. You had in Louisiana, there was interracial marriage because Calvin legalized interracial marriages between blacks and whites. A lot of white French and Spaniard and German, Irish men married black and mixed race black women. So on the Creole part, it wouldn't because they did let their children be free. The wives were free. Also, not all time, but there were many cases that they had free people of color owning businesses and stuff. So unlike the Anglo Protestant South, in the French Spanish Catholic region of Louisiana was different till the Anglo Protestants came there and messed it up. Okay, and I'm an ex-Protestant, so I can understand why. I remember the French left Canada because of the anti-Catholicism in Canada with the English Anglos, and then they came to Spanish Florida, Spanish Louisiana. Excuse me. That's why I have a Spanish Hispanic roots because my fourth grandfather was one of my fourth grandfather was Arial, so that makes sense. Okay, it's Spanish last name. So anyway, so a lot of folks don't know that the Hispanic origin is also in this side of the border, and I'm part of that. And I did not know that growing up until I did my research on Answer.com, and that's why. So anyway, going back to the situation. So Candy, many white Catholics, not all, were for civil rights in amongst African Americans and other races. And some of them, like you have Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly, who are Irish Catholics, they betrayed their faith and became part of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant racism in this country. Like you have some white Jews do the same thing. So unlike what happened to Candy, yes, his family was selling alcohol when it was illegal and all this other stuff. But Candy was trying to fight for civil rights. Okay, and with how he got killed, regardless if he was trying to stop whoever in the war and all this other stuff, H.L. Hunt is, and I do believe that he did allegedly, but I do believe he did kill them. H.L. Hunt was a white racist billionaire, part of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, and in Dallas, like East Texas refineries and our oil and gas, he owned that. Okay, and East Texas has a racist past. Okay, because I'm from Texas, I know they have racist past. Still, that's why what happened 20 years ago with the brother that got his head on the truck. Talking about Mr. Bird, okay, and Jasper, that's nothing new, okay? So what happened is you have to understand that in the South, okay, They didn't want, they call it communists. Everything you're talking about concerning Mexican is what H.L. Hunt was saying. If you look at the BBC, no, I'm not talking about Big Black Cock. So let me nasty. I'm talking about British Broadcasting Network. They did a documentary on H.L. Hunt. The white woman in the clip I talked about on my other video about H.L. Hunt, she sounds just like Tommy Moran, okay? And then they was using the word communism. Also, H.L. Hunt was a Baptist, evangelical. He was making anti-Catholic rhetorics. So, because they was afraid that the communist Catholic was going to allow interracial marriages to be legalized and in segregation, all this other stuff. So when Kennedy came to Texas, because there was so many people making slogans, for segregation, this and that, and they had a plan to get Kennedy killed. Now, I do believe that LBJ had something to do with it because this woman came out and said that LBJ and Nixon was involved. They was at the party when he got killed. He got set up getting killed in Dallas. So, anyway, and folks don't forget that Kennedy was also married, interracial marriage because what's her name? Jacqueline was not pure white. She was part black. She had black ancestry. Um, and even her dad was called Black Jack. He had tan that was natural. No black fishing, no tanning, no melon shot. That was natural because they had black DNA in him. He had like a white man with a tan because he was mixed. So she told the New York Genealogical Library when they asked about civil rights and behind, they mentioned she had black ancestry. She's like, no, call it my Jewish. She was passing, okay, Jewish ancestry at the time, but she was fighting for her people. You know what I'm saying? Of African who could not pass. I couldn't pass for white. I had white ancestry. You know what I'm saying? So when he came down here, that's when he got killed. To Texas, I'm from Houston. I'm from Dallas. So he came down to Dallas and he got killed. And he was trying to get civil rights passed. Okay, trying to stop segregation as the president of the United States, first Catholic. Okay, so everything about communism and liberals and all that, that's what H.L. Hunt uses the same language you're using concerning Mexican in your arguments, and I had to laugh. That's why you cut the dog on camera off, just like Angry Man did last Friday, okay? You know what I'm saying? The black Hispanic guy that, Angry Man, okay, Valdez, okay, what about Cynthia G, okay? Because I bring points to tell. I'm not just trolling, okay? I'm giving you the debunking your argument. Now, you said about why it's the community. I'm going to say this. Never in my videos I blame only whites. Okay? If I'm using Fitlers and Ancha Mamas, you know who I'm talking about. Okay? That's the reason why our communities are messed up. We have, and also I mentioned Garvinism. Once again, Ku Klux Klan involved. H.L. Hunt, paid Nation Islam, and look at that. Okay, W. Du Bois back in the day, when him and Marcus Garvey got into a debate, and Marcus Garvey, who looked pure black but Irish mixture, but then kind of come out looking more like dark skin, did not like W. Du Bois integration in the NAACP, and so when they got in the debate, um, because they was using slurs towards each other and everything else, but Marcus Garvey had a meeting with Ku Klux Klan in June 25th, 1922, and he thanked for segregation, and he was trying to get them to kill Du Bois and Walter White, who like a white man was mixed, okay, in the NAACP because they was trying to help the community, okay, the African Americans in the community, and the colorist was involved and everything else. So W. Du Bois did warn us, I was born in time, that do not listen to Marcus Garvey. He is dangerous. He's an enemy to our community, and he was. So there's a lot of people within the African American community practice Garveyism, and if you don't buy into that, like in my case, I don't buy into that, you are defranchised within the community. And not only that, you have people within our community who don't do anything in the community but cause a lot of drama, and that is orchestrated by white supremacy because white supremacists, when they had immigration and the fair housing and all the other stuff, they make sure they had to do redlining. Okay, certain people, African could not go into wealthy white areas. So, and then when they did, like the area I'm originally from now, I'm not there anymore. It was mostly Hispanic. It's mostly Hispanic now, but it was mostly white. When the Hispanics moved in, the white folks moved out. Okay, where I'm originally from, the east side of Harris County. So they did not want that, and the crime went down, not because it was mostly Hispanic, most of those communities of color, they used to be mostly white, lost a lot of resources. A lot of folks in the African American Hispanic community did not vote locally. They vote presidentially, like in the case with Obama or Clinton or Hillary, whatever. They don't vote locally. So the white people who are, what they'll do will vote against those policies to help those communities locally, and the crime comes in. And we know about Reagan and CIA and Bush, okay? So you can even go there, okay? Now, I never said that all white liberals um, are friends. I'm mixed with white. I don't look white. I have white ancestry. Okay, and as soon as I mention that to these people who's supposed to be let's call come together and Raymond coordination and all other stuff, they start getting real look like they forgot about the true history class, not the indoctrinated fake history class. That we are mixed with white, and the one drop rule was used to put black people with black DNA in slavery and after slavery, doing Jim Crow segregation and defranchising economic default and all this other stuff. So we had some people who like a white person can pass, and they want to make sure they were black, whatever. They cost that. I don't get mad at too. I do get upset, but I get mad mostly at the bigger picture, those who conspire it. Okay, now when it comes to you, okay, who say that we're being slaves and we're stupid if we vote Democrat. Democratic Party, when it changed, when Dixiecrats became Republican during the 50s and 60s and stuff, and you had Goldwater, who was Hillary Clinton's friend, who was Republican, and of course LBJ was not a good friend because he was saying racist stuff behind closed doors. And every time I hear Martin Luther King say "burning house," I don't think he was talking about integration stuff. He was talking about the setup because folks understand during segregation, integration, integration it was legalized. They took a while to integrate those schools. And since conservative Mexicans, you are Hispanic, as African, Native American, and European Spaniard, and other European nationalities, they did try to classify Latinos from Latin America as white. However, this is what they did. When white people, true white people, didn't want to integrate in the color schools, black schools, whatever, what they would do would put Hispanics in replacement of that happen here in Texas. And the schools end up losing resources and they end up becoming more like, me, what happened in New Jersey, okay? So that is the reason why in areas. And they end up bringing, just like I mentioned, the CIA and Reagan and Bush. You forget, and you're from California. You had Jolie West, Dr. Jolie West was giving drugs to African American, Hispanic, men of African and Hispanic, because I don't want to say one drop rule black, because none of us are pure black, young men, the time we was kids, okay, because we're at the same age, because I'm almost 40, and we're approaching 40, okay, in your 30s, if they was in gang problems, if they had broken homes or anything else, what they would do would give them some medication in the violence centers, and they'll be more violent. That's why the gang problem is there. Also, too, in those areas in California, you had the Black Panther movement, you had the Chicano nationalist stuff. Some of those people in those movements became criminals. That's the reason why that happened. And then too, they got involved in the crack cocaine when Reagan was involved, when Reagan was the governor of your state. Okay. And George Bush was the head of CIA at the time when Reagan became president. Reagan was a racist. That's why a lot of business, African American descendant business and Hispanic business and other minorities start to fail. Like the movie Selena talks about that as well. That's why they had that their restaurant and they had to close it down because of economics. Okay, and it put people in the private area. And I mean, it's a dual responsibility. You have those who are impressed, who go along with the problem, and those who conspire it. Okay, so while you had white people who are racist in the Republican Party giving crack cocaine, shipping um, drugs into the barrios, the ghettos, and stuff, it was a bait to put more African American in Hispanic, in African American and Hispanic, who in impoverished areas who want to live a better life, but they had the love of money. Is what all evil mentality. As what Saint Paul say, they chose to do evil to get the money. They ended up selling dope to do gangs, and they fled the prisons with a bunch of men of color because of 13th Amendment. Okay, now you're talking about that someone voted Republican, Democrat because of we blame white people as racist. Did I mention that I have white ancestry and I check black, white, Native American, Hispanic because that's my mixed background. I don't deny my heritage. And the people that came on the ship was more like Barack Obama's pure black brother that went vote for Trump. Not my complexion. I'm an admixture. So anyway, when it comes to that situation, I don't follow the one drop rule. Okay, now, and it's funny you're from California. The multiracial identity is very big in California. So anyway, so let's get to such. So now about Kennedy and Democrats and stuff, and you mentioned that Nixon did not start abortion. When I mentioned that, because it was so much, the chat room was going so fast, it was hard for me to keep up with what everybody was saying. And you know, when you type so fast, you tell you to slow down. Okay, let me break it up to you. Yes, Margaret Sackner, okay, convinced those in the Democrat Party to go along with her eugenics. But let's start with Darwism. Charles Darwin's cousin started eugenics. Okay, after slavery, remember after slavery, they lost a lot of money because they had forced free labor on people of African descent due to once again one drop rule. They tried to use the Bible to defend slavery. Despite distorting it, they tried to say that African descent people were not humans; they were monkeys. Difference of men, the slave master raped or had a baby consensually with a slave woman, mixed or pure, that baby is automatically black, so they can go ahead and be a slave on the plantation. That's why I'm one drop rule. Um, and then there was also this stuff. So they lost money due to the war, and many slaves were uneducated. They was afraid that some slaves due to the love of money situation become criminals and do drugs and at the time when alcohol was illegal, that type of thing, or ever, and they'd be on welfare because the people don't have the skills to work. So what they did was trying to do the forced eugenics, but that was too harsh. So they did undercover eugenics. And so you had Margaret Sackner, and Margaret Sackner was an atheist. Her dad was an atheist. Her mom was an Irish Catholic. Her mom, who was against her um, uh, life thing, was she was very against because she was very strict Catholic from her mother. Now, Margaret Sackner did have ties to Nazi Germany and Ku Klux Klan. And Margaret Sackner, yes, the feminists like Susan B. Anthony and the rest of it was not for Margaret Sackner's anti-life movement, and she did target minorities in eugenics movement. So the real reason why, and she even fooled up E. Du Bois, she tried to fool Martin King, whatever, and she even wrote to tell the African men who are ministers who are Protestants. You have Catholics. I mean, I became Catholic to an African Creole church, okay, at 13. But anyway, because you can do the parish, the African American, they can touch, but the Protestant evangelicals who can make their own interpretation of scripture, the problem is they went to those churches and they had ministers telling the, the people to take birth control because that was the reason why you have a bunch of kids, you're in poverty, which is a falsehood. They also use welfare programs. If you wanted welfare, you had to get sterilized. So that Margaret Sagner, she caused that. However, to make abortion legal, because the black nationalists at the time or civil rights was against abortion, they said it was genocide. However, when Roe versus Wade, Nixon is recorded. Watch the film Modified 21. He said, "I want to get rid of them black bastards." He got the abortion legalized back in the 60s, 70s when they had the sexual revolution and the appeal and all the other stuff. So you're telling the truth. The Democrat, it wasn't a Democrat that started. It was a Republican who allowed it to be legal, and they target minorities because when you have the right to life movement, they're mostly talking about white babies. I'm for right to life, but I'm for all babies. And not all Democrats like myself, we're not for. They're Democrats are pro-life Democrats. I'm part of that ideology. I'm not with the pro-choice Democrats when it comes to abortion. So, because I know the agenda behind it, and we do exist, okay? And you have Republicans who do not have a right to life mentality when it comes to minority babies, so they'll contact Planned Parenthood and give them money and fund the baby, a cocoa black baby, even if it's not pure, or a Hispanic baby, to get killed so they will not have a huge birth rate. The idea of having a wall in legal immigration is about population control. It is not about illegal immigrants. First of all, they allow the illegal immigrants to come in this country right after segregation right after slavery had ended. Okay, the idea of bringing folks from Mexico to work, less pay, was to you replace the slaves after they lost like a couple years after, because it was 1900, not the 1800s when slavery ended, late 1800s. So the idea of slavery, you gotta understand the idea of slavery free labor. They use Latinos, such as yourself, to come to the Southwest once they got rid of, tried to get rid of Mexican people and stole the Southwest. They tried to make them the Barcelo program. They had a proper, they had a thing called Operation WETBICK. You know what that means, okay? And these were immigrants who were not legal in this country, who was through the cotton fields and picking strawberries and peppers and everything else, okay? And being mistreated by their boss, getting workplace bullying, okay? Now, you forgot your history concerning Mexican. See, you're from California. And one thing I love Mexico, you can tell Mexico's a shithole all you want to. That's what the media shows. That's part of Mexico that's not a shithole. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, it's sad that someone of Mexican heritage considered in some another Hispanic brother of African descent as well, who is not Hispanic heritage, not from Mexico, can appreciate Mexico. Let me explain why I appreciate Mexico. See, unlike those black folks who don't read history in the hood, and the Latinos who don't read history deeper from they read from us because it wasn't taught in school. What I learned this stuff was part of my multiracial, being part of the multiracial movement, and also researching this stuff at the library, and also finding stuff on the internet. And it's very accurate. I mentioned Manifest Destiny when they was looking for the Southwest, especially Texas, because that's the first state they stole, was to expand their slavery. Okay, to expand more cotton fields, whatever, they have deserts in the Southwest. And so they were looking at Mexico. You had African American people crossing the border in the area to Mexico to be free because Mexico ended slavery in 1829, September 15th. See, your second president, even though you don't want to mention you're Mexican, was part black and part Spanish. They named Vicente Guerrero. The state Guerrero is named after him, and he banned slavery. Okay, his mother was a slave during the caste system of Mexican colonial Mexico, Nueva España. He fought in that war. He went against his mestizo father over that. Okay, now to keep Mexico, no longer part of Spain anymore. That racist caste system they had, they made you with three races, not two, three. Now, as I was saying, when that law, even though he was killed by the white Mexicans, Creoles, the white Spanish Creoles, who was uppity, who got him killed in 1831. You had Santa Anna, who was a Creole as well, Criollo, okay, and he was one was against the war of Mexico when he was on the Spanish side, but later on changed his mind. He was also friends with Vicente Guerrero. He came here to Texas to defend Mexico, but not only that, the slaves who were welcomed in Mexico, who came away from the white Anglo American slave owners. See, the reason why you're in California and I'm in Texas is because of Manifest Destiny, because they were looking for the Southwest to be stolen from them to be part of the slave population and business. So when it was losing slaves to the Southwest, California, Arizona, Nueva Mexico, Oregon, Utah, Texas también, they was free, so they couldn't go and try to get the slaves no longer slaves. If I was from the South and I go into Mexican territory, I am free. So they was also mad about that, losing their slaves to Mexico. Okay, and then it was free in Mexico. They can't get them back because it's a different country. So when you talk about illegal immigration and borders, yes, I'm not with Nation Islam, even though H.R. paid them and got my ex killed, and they're trying to relegate our civil rights and our freedom, and trying to use our black day to tell us how to live our lives, stay in our place. However, you have a Mexican dude named Abel Muhammad. In one of the videos I saw, he actually correct. They use African American people, pure and mixed, to stop Anglos from crossing the border to Mexico. So before anybody talking about illegal immigration in DACA, who started besides the Barcelo program from the United States after years after slavery, next millennium, of to the 1800s, the next millennium, but next not decade, century, okay? The middle part of the 19th centuries. Well, 19, it'd be the 20th century, yeah, but in 1900s. However, you forget that Mexico opened its door to African descended people who crossed the border before it was Santiago Grande, okay? The Anglos was looking for interest to Spanish slavery, and that's why they came to Tejas when it wasn't even supposed to be here. They came illegally with slaves. They disobeyed the law, which caused the Alamo. And they drug Santa Anna after he had sex with Emmy Morgan West, and they gave him some drugs. So before you say anything about illegal immigration, you need to do your research, dude. The last Mexican governor of California was Pio Pico, who was Afro mestizo too, and he kept mentioning his background as African DNA too, by his mulatto grandmother, whatever, and the cast he had. You forgot your history concerning Mexican. You came to white supremacy. You think that I'm voting Democrat because I'm dumb and stupid and I hate white people when I do acknowledge my mix, and I'm also related to Thea Bacon, the white man who started regular cause. Not he caused, he was trying to stop the establishment who owned slaves. He had white servants and black folks and mixed race black folks too. Burned the Virginia Capitol way, way, way savage and righteously savage, but not irrationally savage like what happened in Charlottesville last year. Okay, so yeah, because my grandmother was a bug. She descended from Sarah Bacon Bug. Sarah Bacon is my ninth grandparents, and they're related to Thea Bacon. Yes, my 10th grandpa, who's white, Captain Bacon Bug. No, Captain Bacon, excuse me, from Suffolk, England. Yes, I did my research on my ancestry real good. I'm very proud of my mixed heritage. So I'm not anti-white. If I check black, white, Native American, Hispanic, I'm not anti-white. Very proud of. I'm proud of my white heritage. No, not the racist ones. The good people in the heritage, not the racist ones. Don't get twisted. Okay? So I'm proud of being mixed. And I'm not transracial. That's my background. I traced my roots since I was 13 years old. And I got a lot of things to do. A lot. Geological research is very hard to do. And I plan on to get some more money to do more about my roots so I can know where I come from. Now, beyond that, dude, before you say anything about illegal immigration, you forget that Mexico, the half part of Mexico that's Northern Mexico, was stolen for slavery. And you over here in California in the territory trying to defend people who don't even want you here? Yes, the Republican Party, white folks, the former Democrats who were for slavery and racism, KKK, they became part of the Republican Party. And you, the same language you're talking about, same language that H.L. Hunt was saying about communists and liberals and they're going to get rid of America and had it. That's what they were saying. You forget your history. So that's why you try to give me off just like Angry Man did last week about Cindy G. Because I bring the food to the table that you cannot debunk. I wasn't trying to be trolling, dude, but you're the one that's lost. You're the one that's stupid. And you're collecting a check for white supremacists. Let me say this again. You're collecting a check for white supremacists from the Trump campaign. That's why you're clout chasing, cooning, coconut poaching, coconut, whatever you want to call it. So, dude, get in your head. Tú eres loco, way, homie. Tú eres loco, way. You forget that our Native American ancestors had this land. Yes, that the legal immigration started in 1492. And you start with white supremacy. It's not about blaming the white man. I do blame folks within. And did I mention Nation Islam and Garvey? That's the distraction of our in those African American community because we're trying to live, and you have the pit bulls of white supremacy trying to stop us. Tell us because we have black to what we live, what we eat, with us to how to even identify that and deny our mixed heritage. The reason why we're here today, because in this Africa, I'm also here because Europeans come here and also Native Americans here too, who's already here. So before you say anything about white supremacy, and we're blaming white men when I acknowledge I am technically part white. Um, you need to do research on your history, cause you forgot where you come from, brah, brother. Yes, don't forget, you have African Nancy Sinhalese. That's I keep on thinking about the Sinhalese people. I could be Sinhalese, but I haven't no down there in the ocean. Um, Senegal, Sinhalese, that bone structure, the head bone structure is very African. The bone structure you may be you don't look pure black. You don't look like Akon, okay? Duh. But you have an African head bone structure considered Mexican. You can make whole La Raza all you want to and try to act like the African you did. Oh, I got to take a DNA test. I think my video kind of questioned your DNA results. And I did. I was actually correct. I don't care how small it is, it's still in your DNA. They got the bone structure on your face, in your head, and the nape area, real good. You have an African head structure of skull. Yes, you do. Now, I wasn't trying to troll, dude. I know why you said that people in areas of liberals, that it's personal responsibility. I'll admit that when it comes to people in those areas. However, when it comes to people who in red states like here in Texas, we suffer. I put a bunch of applications. Never want to hire me. My record is clean. I never did drugs. No thug. No, I'm far away from a thug. And I'm trying to start my own business. I just bought a book on Kindle. Yes, I did. So I started my own business. I just got t-shirts I'm trying to sell, whatever, and I'm trying to also do uh, freelancing. So I'm not just sitting here trying to get a check and be on welfare because that was the worst thing to do with. But in the red states, either you get treated like trash with the plug and will stay, or you just suffer. But it's an option. There are ways to make money besides working for other people. You work for yourself, and I plan to do that, dude. Yes, I do. So you can go ahead and get your strawberry picking money. I don't need no strawberry picking cotton money. I'm trying to get my own money and be the big bosses and be like Trump. Because forget, dude, Trump was my role model too, back in 2006. Let me say it again. Trump was my role model. I had a picture of him in my Job Corps college room. Yes, I did. So, but when he started being racist, and I should have known when he starts making fun of black Native Americans and somewhere in New York, somewhere they don't look like Indians, okay, very uneducated. Well, guess what? Guess what, dude? When he started bashing Obama, now I'm looking at Obama side eye too, and I didn't vote for Hillary, dude. I voted for Gary Johnson, and I voted for Bernie Sanders. So all this stuff about that we voted Democrat because of slavery. Bernie Sanders was fighting for my rights, dude. Was more with Martin King. I ain't voted for that thought, Rika thought Hillary. She was with Goldwater, who's Republican, going against the civil rights bills, even though LBJ was a hypocrite aside it, because he wasn't for it. And I think that's what Martin King meant by burning house because of the setup. Especially when they put list you as white when you are mixed, and that you go to shithole schools in the hood while the true white people go live in the better schools. You forget that before Brown versus Education, they hit the Mendez. You know the Meserican family, Meserican, not Mexican, Meserican American family because her mother was Puerto Rican. You know the same background as Takashi 6ix9ine, Meserican. On different is that his father was Puerto Rican and his mother's Mexican. Was Puerto Rican because he's here. But her mother was Puerto Rican, her dad was Mexican. Versus Westminster. I don't say West Ham because the West Ham names because he used it. Anyway, because yeah, the spelling. Well, you forgot your culture. We forgot that Mexican men were lynched too. They had signs that said no Mexicans, no Negroes, or no niggers, and no dogs. You forgot your history, so this cloud chasing Bakuni for white supremacists who don't care about your culo, even though you may be looking weirdo, but you indígena y negro también. Dude, stop. Okay? So I want you to debunk the arguments of Richard Nixon allowing abortion to get legalized and say I want to give them black bastards. And they putting abortion clinics in the hood of the body or not, and put fertility clinics in the white neighborhoods. Okay, what about voting And folks voting against policies that help the hood and the body of those areas will not look like those shitholes. And redlining. Do you have any comments about that? Manifest Destiny, the Alamo. You just want to get a check from white supremacy. Go ahead and get your little check and making people look terrible. You know, you know. So it's not blaming the white man. Dude, I blame everybody else involved too with the white supremacists. People of color, the coconuts, the coons, the Aunt Mamas, all of them get blamed. Okay? Okay? Without any compliance of the people of color, it would not be no white supremacy. That's very true. But don't ever try to say that I'm dumb or stupid. You don't stupid being a sharp picking coon for white supremacists. Afro mestizo sharp picking coon. A high yellow house in word. Thank you. Hello. Thank you.